What is up, beautiful people? So it's Thursday and it's time for the second live of Unreal Engine. I'm gonna be recording these classes, remember? You can find them on YouTube, just in case you need to go back and refresh what I'm talking about. So today I'm gonna talk about materials, and probably during the last 15 minutes, oh damn, this is disconnected, give me just a moment. So during the last 15 minutes, I'm gonna show you another project in Unreal Engine that has a lot more advanced things. So it's gonna be super fun just getting to see what you can build in Unreal Engine. So it's gonna take a bit before we get there, but you should be able to understand materials and the basic functionality about blueprints in Unreal Engine by class number 10. And if you keep on playing by yourself, you should be able to build something nice, probably a basic game. So let's just go over to, okay, so it's, I think I haven't seen the new content for the month, so I'm gonna do that right now. There is an update for Genshin Impact, there is a free game for Unreal. Well, not for Unreal, for Epic Games. So let's just go to free, and then the free for the month. So this is the content that we have for July. So make sure you go over there to the marketplace. I told you that during the last class. Always make sure to check Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine's free assets for the month. So we have this big Niagara bundle. Niagara is like the VFX for Unreal Engine. So these are built-in things, effects that you can use in Unreal Engine with Niagara. So we can add that to the cart. We have a bazaar. We have an ArcBiz template for an office. This is a Goblin Warrior, and this is a modular character, so that's nice. And we have some real world landscapes. That's always super helpful. And as you can see, the price tag on these ones is a bit pricey. So this one is $139. If you were to purchase this, like just on a different month. So always make sure to get the free content for the month. You're gonna get a ton of value. And if you're gonna keep on playing with Unreal Engine, you're gonna definitely use this for something else. So let's just go and double check over here the bazaar. You can always check the images. So this is what you can find inside this package. This is a modular asset. Most of the assets in Unreal Engine are modular, so that you can build them as you want. You can build something else out of it and not just be like stuck with one building. So you can build a ton of buildings, and this is Nanite. This is how content that is kind of like optimized for Nanite looks like. So these are all the polygons that make up all of these assets. And yeah, more images about the content, and the graphics are like super nice. Hola Nansuka, yeah, this is the channel, this is the correct one. So that's Kick. Thank you for being here. The class today is in English. I can always switch back to Spanish. ¿Cómo estás? Gracias por pasar por aquí, Zebra. Buena onda. Estamos viendo aquí algunos de los assets gratis de Unreal Engine. So this is the ArcBiz office. Most of these ArcBiz packs are like super nice. Yep. So you can download them once you get them. I have them all over here in my shopping cart. They are all free, as you can see, and the total is $419, and that they are giving away for everyone. So just make sure to go to the checkout and then just place your order, and you don't have to pay anything for this. So if you've been following Unreal for a while, you should be able to get a library like the one I have. I have purchased a lot of assets for Unreal. Besides the Unreal Marketplace, there are other marketplaces where you can buy assets. So I have spent probably like 10 grand on Unreal Engine assets. So yeah, there's a ton over here. So let's go back to the course today. We were just starting. It's the second class, so we're just gonna get into materials and do a recap, and then we're gonna check a different project in Unreal Engine. So we have, this is our project, intro Unreal. Yeah, this is the one. So we're just gonna open that. Let's give it a moment. If anyone is watching in Twitch, just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that I'm gonna be switching entirely to Kick. So just make sure to go to my Kick profile. I'm gonna drop the link over here, not here. I'm gonna drop it over here in the Twitch chat. Oh, this is not my link. Give me just a moment. There we go. I'm gonna drop it over here on the chat. So you can go make an account on the Kick. Hello, Crazy Faith. Gracias por estar por aquí en un hermoso día jueves. Today is English. Here we go. So we have our project over here. This is the starter map for the third person template that we used. Hello in English. Yeah, so let's just go to, where do we have it? The map? I think we didn't make a new map. I think we were just over here in the starter content, maps, and we have one that is called post process. This is the one we were using the last time, just to illustrate some things about Unreal Engine and the post process volume and how things work with the post-process volume and auto exposure. So let's just do a quick recap of what we were doing in the last class. So last class we went over Unreal Engine's user interface. So we have over here on the right side the outliner. This is the section that makes a list of everything you have on your scene, and you can read it and you can search stuff over here a lot easier than just going on your scene and trying to find something small. So it's gonna be a lot easier to use the outliner for that. Then you have the details section over here, and we haven't checked that out really much. So we're gonna go over that today. And we have the modes over here on the top in the toolbar. We have the modes, we have selection, landscape, foliage, and other modes over here. We're gonna go over them in a different class. And we have this button to add content to our scene. We've seen only the basic shapes that you can add. We've added some cubes, some spheres, and you just have to drag and drop them over here onto your scene, and you'll be able to see them over here. I talked about how to move using the camera. Buenas en inglés, buena onda, Les Klein por estar por acá. So this is how you do it. You hold the right click and then use the WASD keys so that you can move on your viewport. The viewport is the big section over here. This is the one you're going to use the most in Unreal Engine to do, well, basically everything with your 3D assets. So to move stuff around in Unreal Engine, we talked about the gizmos we have over here. So you can move objects, you can translate, I believe is the right word, the objects in the different axes we have on this world. So we have the x-axis, which is going to the right. You can see them on the top left. We have the y-axis and we have the z-axis. So you can move objects in those 3 directions. You can also rotate the objects, and it's not gonna, well, it's not gonna make any difference with a sphere, but if you rotate something like this one, remember that we have the hotkeys W, E, R. W, so you can move objects. We have E, so you can rotate objects like this. And we have R, so you can scale objects. And you can scale them on a specific axis, as you can see over here. You can start building stuff like that. Unreal Engine also has a different module so that you can like model objects a little bit better. These are just like the basic tools to move, scale, and rotate. But if you wanted to sculpt things in 3D, Unreal Engine has a different module for it. So that we're not gonna go over that actually. Maybe in a different course in the futures. Hello there, mate. Hola, Donita Suavecita. How are you? Thank you for being here. How's everyone's days going? Okay, so this is just a recap. So we have move, rotate, and scale for all of the objects we have on the scene. And these are the gizmos. As you can see, these arrows change whenever we choose each one of the different gizmos over here to move, rotate, and scale. So you're gonna use these ones a lot. So it's better that you learn the hotkeys for them. We have snapping for each of these different options. So we have snapping over here to move objects, and we have it set to 5 centimeters in Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is measured in centimeters. And we have also over here snapping for the rotation. You can disable snapping and it's gonna move like freely when you rotate stuff, also when you move stuff. But usually for rotation, you're gonna need snapping because you usually try to go in a way that you can see the things in a specific way. So if we wanted to see the wall, we're gonna use like exactly 90 degrees. It's gonna be like super rare, like strange that if you're gonna build in a different thing like 45 degrees and you're gonna start like building like that. It's gonna be a lot harder probably because your perspective is like different. Okay, so that's just a quick recap of the last class, and we also checked the post-process volume. Remember that the post-process volume is this little square that is empty over here. And what you do with the post-process volume, we're gonna search for it in the outliner, post-process, and we have post-process volume. What you do with this little square over here is that you can affect all of basically the visual effects that you can apply on your scene. And you can use it on a local small level that is inside the cube, or you could use it in a different way to affect all of your scene. most of the time you're gonna use one post-process volume to affect all of your scene. So you gotta make sure that you go over here to the details of the post-process volume. You go to settings for the post-process volume. Make sure you select over here. You go to the settings, and on the settings for the post-process volume, it has to have an option. Where is the option? Where are the global options? That it has to be unbound. Or over here, post-process volume settings. So there's an option that says infinite extent unbound. So it's going to, if you have it enabled, it's going to affect the entire scene. If you have it disabled, it's only going to affect inside of the cube. This is interesting if you're trying to build a different kind of effect for a small area inside a world. So let's say we wanted to go to the global settings for this, and we go to saturation, and we change the color of the saturation, and we change how much we want to saturate our scene. As you can see now, it's a lot more blue. So you can also do that, but you can also desaturate the scene so it looks like this. So it's just black and white, but it only happens whenever you're inside. When you're outside, it's not gonna look like that, because auto exposure is working. It's trying to compensate for the change of light whenever you go inside and out. So as you can see, if you were trying to create a different scene in a game that you have a different scenario and you have to choose between, I don't know, like this option or this option, and you can slow the time on that section and you make a cinematic and you want to apply some dramatic effect on it, you can make a post-process volume that affects the character when it goes inside of that, and it can make everything, I don't know, like black and white, or you can use a different option. You can use some bloom, and you can do a lot of changes over here using the post-process volume, and it is basically just going to affect how the visual effects look like for your entire scene. So let's just go and enable that one for our entire scene. So we go out, and it looks the same for all of the scene. There we go. So that's just a recap of the previous class, super fast. And now we are going to talk about materials. And to do that, we are going to create a new world, a new level, and we're gonna start like organizing the stuff we have on our project. So remember that we have the outliner. The outliner shows what you have inside your scene. The content browser or the content drawer, it's just over here, is the same thing. You can open it with Control and space. That's going to show you everything, like all of the different assets you have inside your project that you can use. They are not necessarily inside of your scene, but you can use all of the content that you have over here. For example, you have the mannequins over here for Unreal Engine. So if you were to go to the meshes, you can add them over here to your scene, and you have a mannequin. So as you can see, it was on your project, but it wasn't on your scene. It's not the same. So just wanted to make that really clear. It's just okay, let's continue with this. So now we go over here to content. Content is gonna be like usually the main folder where you save everything inside your project. And on content, we are going to create a new folder. To create a new folder is super easy. You just have to make a right click over here, then select the option new folder. So the new folder is going to be called maps. That's usually the name you give to the folder that is going to hold all of your levels. And to make a new level, it's also super easy. You can make a right click over here and select a new level, or you can go to File on the top menu and then select the option New Level. The difference is that if you make a right click on the content drawer and create a new level, it's going to give you a basic level always. But if you go to New Level over here, you have a couple of templates you can choose from. So you have the open world template, which is going to be a huge map, and in Unreal Engine 5, from Unreal Engine 5 and so on, it's going to be world partition, the software that is going to use to break all that huge map. And we have a basic map, which is just a map with floor and lights. And we have an empty open world, which is a huge landscape, and an empty level. So we're just gonna choose a basic level with floor and lights, and let's create that one. So there we go. We have a new level over here, as you can see, and there's a floor, and here we have our lights. Remember that you can disable just like they are always going to show, but you can disable that if you press G. If you press G, they just go out of your way, but they are still there. And you can find them over here as well in the outliner. We are going to talk about lights in the next class. So in this one, we're just gonna go over materials. Let's just make the floor a little bit smaller. And now we are going to talk about the details panel. So the details panel is going to show you, as the name says the details of everything you select over here on the outliner, or even if you select it over here from the viewport, is going to get selected on the outliner and is going to show you the details for that specific element. The details are different options that you can use to customize or change how some settings work on that specific item. So if we select the floor, we're gonna see at the top the transform options. And these are location, rotation, and scale. And they are made of different float points. They are made of different float points. And they are basically three different like numbers, float numbers in all of the axes. So this is like an array of position for the object, an array for the rotation, and one array for the scale. If you wanted to change the scale of an object, you have the option to go into the viewport and press R so that you can change to the rotation mode. If you select the center, it's going to equally adjust the size of this. Or if you select only two, let's say, I'm gonna just move a little bit back. If you select between Y and X, is going to scale it only on Y and X, but not on C. And if you select only between C and X, is going to scale it only on those. As you can see, it's getting thicker and only going to the sides on the X axis. So just wanted to make that sure. You have that option so that you can scale objects. But you have the details panel, and you can go to the scale option and you can change the values over here. And let's say, for example, choose 4 on X, and it's going to change it. You can choose 4 on Y, and it's going to change it. And if you want the floor to be a little bit slim, you can choose 1, and it's going to change also over here. The same applies for rotation and location. You can change the location and the rotation of this element using the details panel. So depending on what you're working, it's gonna be a lot easier to use the details panel or the viewport. So what else do we have over here? We have a static mesh. The static mesh is basically what makes most of the 3D objects. It's gonna be, yeah, like a 3D form for all of the elements we have on the scene. And we have the materials, which is what we're going to go over about today. The materials is basically how this looks like. Before we go deeper into this, let's add something else into the scene. I'm gonna show you something cool. If you're taking Unreal Engine for the first time, you're probably not gonna know this. So whenever you open any project, remember that we had to add the starter content to this specific project so that we could get some props and some meshes and stuff like that. But what all of the projects have in common is the Unreal Engine settings. Engine, like props and meshes and stuff like that, they are always there, but you have to show them. So in order to show the engine content over here into your content drawer, you have to first open the content drawer. Remember, Control and space, and then on the right side you're gonna find the settings. So you click settings over here, and then when you go to the settings, you have an option to show the engine content over here. So make sure you click that one, and if it's selected, just make sure that when I click that, it's going to now show a new folder over here on the left, and it's going to be called engine. So on this engine content, you have more content that is always available in all of the projects that you can use. And this is added to all of the projects because it's engine stuff. So, what is up, Renaton? ¿Cómo estás? Qué bueno tenerte por acá. Finally able to log in. That's good. Yeah, it was the incognito window what saved you. So it has to be something about cache and cookies. Yeah, Brave doesn't save cookies, but it does save cache. So just make sure you can delete the cache on Brave, so you can use it on Brave. So let's go over here, and on the things we have some starter content as well into the engine stuff. So we're gonna add an Unreal Engine, it's like a pod. So I forgot the name. Let me just check my notes. What's the name of that pod? I'm gonna show you. I made this when I started doing this course, Unreal Engine course in Spanish. So I have it over here. Let me translate it really quick. So this is materials. Where's the pod? Gosh dang it. So yeah, I think, yeah, I remember now. We go to engine, SM_mat. There we go. So the name is SM_mat, and this is the preview mesh we can use for this. Let's go and take a look to this. And as you can see, it's a pod, Unreal Engine pod. Looking really nice. So this is 4x4. I think it's too big, so I'm just gonna change the size of the floor. Let's do 3 and 3. There we go. It's a little bit better. So materials again, and if we go to the starter content folder and we go to materials, we are going to find some materials over here. So a material is basically going to affect how the 3D objects you have on your scene look like, how they are rendered on the scene. So to add a material to any of the objects over here, it's super easy. You just have to select one of these materials, and you hold your left click, and then you drag it onto the object you want this material to be applied. So I'm gonna apply this grass. So you can see the grass is now applied onto the floor. And if we wanted to add some other material to this Unreal Engine pod, we just have to add another material. So let's say they have a steel, this one. They have some steel that we can add to this Unreal Engine thing. Unreal Engine pod. You can choose a shiny one. And as you can see, because it's shiny, you can see the reflection of the floor on the pod. And you can also see the reflection of the sun, which is the directional light we have over here, and also the clouds. You can see all those reflections over here onto this pod. So materials are super nice because you can do super crazy things, but we are just going to learn the basics for now about materials and material instances if we have time. I think we are not gonna have time for material instances, but we're just gonna then check the basics of the materials. So this material is a metallic material, and we're gonna talk about that right now. Let's make a new material. So let's go to content, and we should make another folder. So we have the maps folder. We're going to save our levels there, and we're gonna have the how do we call it? Our stuff, my stuff, I don't know, my stuff folder, and we're going to add materials and a bunch of things over here. Usually you just want to have different folders, specific folders for everything, but we're going to just do it quick with just one folder and save everything over there, like most things. So let's make a new material in the my stuff folder. To do that, we just make a right click on the content browser or content drawer, and then you go to material and you select a new material, or since this is a basic asset that you use a lot in Unreal Engine, you are gonna find it over here in the create basic asset. You're gonna have blueprints, levels, materials, and Niagara system, which are VFX things that you can use for effects in Unreal Engine. So let's just click on the new material, and we are going to call this one first material. So this is going to be our first material in Unreal Engine. Let's just double click on it so we can open it. And as you can see, we have a new window with different stuff that it's not the same as the other window. First of all, one thing that I like to do is that, as you can see, we cannot see the other world over here, and this is because this is a new window. As you can see, if we hover over here to the bottom, we have the Unreal Editor window, which is this one. Well, it's behind this one. It's this one. And we have the material graph for the new material. So what I like to do usually is to just dock every new window we open, because most of the things you open in Unreal Engine are going to be opened in a new window. You can dock them into your editor window. To do that is super easy. You just have to hold your left click on this tab and drag it over here. So now, as you can see, it's docked. We have our new level, and we have the material graph over here for our new material. So what do we have over here? First of all, you move exactly like you move when you're in the orthographic mode in Unreal Engine. You use the right click, you hold the right click so you can drag over here on the screen, and you use the scroll to zoom in and out on this material graph window. And the material graph basically is a space where you can plug in nodes so that you can get specific things on how a material looks like. This is the preview of the material you're going to build, and this is the details window for the materials and the nodes you're going to use to build any sort of colors or effects for your material. So let's start with something basic as well. As you can see on the right side, there is something that is called palette. On the palette, you're gonna find everything you can use to build a material. And we're gonna start with the basics. Don't worry about all of the options over here yet. So we are going to select this option that is called constant tree vector. And we're just going to hold the left click and drag it onto our material graph. And basically what this does is that it's going to create an array of 3 different like float numbers, and this is just like basically the RGB in Unreal Engine, which is red and green. Why so Cleto? Why so Cleto, says Crazy Fate Rata. So over here in the constant tree vector, we are basically going to create a new color, and this is like the RGB for any other thing where you create colors. How do you create a new color? You just go over here to the details section, and it says constant, and you can double click on this option so that you can select a new color. That is one option. Or you can double click on the node, and it's going to open the same window, and it's going to allow you to choose any color over here. So let's just go and choose a blue and click OK. I didn't click OK, I think. Oh, what's going on? Come on, Unreal. Come on, Unreal. So it doesn't want to update, and I don't know why. Yeah, this is weird. Let me save the new level we made. Sometimes you're gonna find this kind of errors, and this one is gonna be on the content. Where do we make this new map? It should be in maps. Let's just save it. Save all. Oh, there we go. Maybe it's because of that. So if we go to maps, we're gonna save it under the name materials. So this is gonna be our materials level. And now that we have that, I think we're gonna be able to change it. Let's choose a nice blue. What the heck? We are having issues with Unreal Engine again. It should be super easy just to change it like that. Oh, I know why. I'm such a dumbass. I have to change the saturation on the color. So that's why it was black. I'm sorry, it was my bad. So there we go. Let's choose. It looks weird. I don't like this blue. Okay, let's not take too much selecting a blue color. Okay, let's just leave it like that. So this is our new color, and as you can see, this is basically an RGB that is going to make like red, green, blue, and it's going to create a new color. I used Brave to navigate, and it blocked a lot of things. Also in my phone, something was wrong. Okay, glad you made it work now. So, okay, let's go back. So material graph, and now that we have this over here, what we have to do is that we can plug in this color into the material base color. This is a node, and how you work nodes in Unreal Engine is that you have an output from this node, and you have to plug it into the input for something else. To do that is super easy. You just hold your mouse and drag a line, hold the left click on this node and drag a line and plug it in to the base color over here. There we go. So as you can see now, we have a sphere that is showing us the preview of how this material is going to look like in real time. So we can choose also to change the preview of the mesh. Instead of a sphere, we can choose a cylinder. We can also choose a plane, a cube, and you can choose other options. You can basically select from the content browser any other mesh, and it's going to apply the changes on this to that mesh. So we're just gonna leave it on the sphere. Here is our example. And if we go over here to our pod, and we will go to my stuff, and we have our first material over here, and drag it and drop it over here onto the sphere. As you can see, nothing has changed, and the reason for that is because we have to compile the changes on the material. So to do that, you have to click on the apply button over here, and also always make sure to save your materials, because Unreal Engine can crash anytime. So just make sure to save it. And now, after we've done that, as you can see, our sphere, well, our pod from Unreal Engine is actually looking nice from the blue we just selected over there. So if we were to change again the color over here, say to this color over here, let's make it a little bit more orange. If we go back, it's not going to change because we haven't applied it. So let's just make sure to click apply. And now it's going to change how this looks like. So this is super nice. So one thing that you probably noticed is that we had a metallic material before, and it reflected some of the light. This one is not reflecting the light. So we're gonna talk about that for now. We have another set of options over here, as you can see, on what makes a material. We have the base color, we have a metallic option, and we have also roughness. So roughness, as the name says it, is how rough a texture is, how rough the base material is. To change the roughness, we are not going to plug in 3 values, we just need 1. And basically it's just a value from 0 to 1. So if we go over here to this constant, well, again to the constants, we're just going to pass a constant 1 because it only passes 1 value. So let's drag it over here, and let's plug this node into the roughness. And as you can see, now that the value is 0, it's super shiny. If we apply the changes and go back to this, as you can see now, the sphere is super shiny and it reflects more of the light and the materials from this world than when it was rough. So if we put it on 1, it's going to change this, and it no longer reflects the light. Now it's a rough material. What is that song? I feel like I'm in church. What is that song? Now let's go and change this. Here we go. But the children love the books. I don't get it. What are you talking about, Geka? Oh, I feel like the sound is lagging. The sound from that song is lagging. And it's not this one. What is that? Okay. So this is how rough a material can be. You can you can have a really, well, it depends on what you want to build, but you can leave it at, let's say, 0.1, and it's going to be a mix of, oh, we didn't apply it. A mix of a shiny but not super shiny material. For the sphere, if you want to emulate some sort of plastic look, you're gonna use this. So what else do we have over here that is important? We have the metallic aspect over here that is going to control if a material is metallic or not. Again, this is going to take only one value to select if it's metallic or not, and you can either drag another one from over here, another constant one, or you can press Ctrl D, so you can duplicate this one and pass it onto this one. You can also copy paste stuff, press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V, and it's going to paste this value over here. Or you can use any of Unreal's hotkeys for this. If you hold number 1 and then click on the material graph window, it's going to add a constant of 1 vector. If you hold number 2, it's going to add a constant of 2 values, and then if you hold number 3, it's going to add a constant of 3 values, and you have so on and so forth, different letters that you can press so you can add different stuff. If you want to add a multiply, you hold M and press you left click on the material graph, and it's going to add a multiply node. So it's good to know that because it's going to save a lot of time. So now that we have over here this constant, we are going to plug it into metallic, and this is basically a Boolean. It can only be true or false. It cannot be like a little bit metallic like the roughness value over here. It has to be either metallic or not metallic. So the only values that you can pass over here are 1 and 0. 1 is enabled, 0 is disabled. Let's just press 1. And as you can see, the difference is huge. If you make a material, a metallic material is going to change the entire way it renders the material. So let's just apply this over here. And now we have a metallic pod, Unreal Engine pod. As you can see over here, remember that you can move around an object if you hold Alt and then continue pressing your left click, and you can move around the object. So as you can see now, this is a metallic object. There's a huge difference. It's the same color, but it's rendered as a metallic object, so it's golden instead of like the orange we had before. So this is like yellow, and metallic it would be this color. So yeah, something that if you want to look further into how Unreal Engine works with materials, Unreal Engine works with physically based rendering. So it's PBR. I'm gonna paste it over here in the chat. Is the chat going to show? Okay, where is the chat showing? Is the chat showing? Go to editor. There we go. So PBR, physically based materials. Where is the chat? Is the chat showing on my screen? I don't know. Hopefully. Just gonna send it again. PBR. Okay. Yeah, it's over there on the bottom left. So PBR, physically based rendering. It's how Unreal Engine computes materials and makes all whatever formulas so that you can build materials in Unreal Engine. It's a huge read. There is an Adobe document that talks about it. I think I made a note about that in the first class. Hopefully I should have a link to that one. Do I have it? I think I don't. Oh, damn. Okay, I don't have it. I'm gonna get it for you. If someone is interested, I'm gonna drop a link for it's an Adobe guide about physics-based rendering. So yeah, just in case you want to read it. Oh, hello, SamBG. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that raid, or hosted according to Kick. Appreciate it. Welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm talking about Unreal. I'm starting a series of Unreal Engine lives, and we're starting from scratch, teaching you about Unreal Engine, and we're talking about materials today. Thank you very much for that raid, and SamBG. How do I check your channel? I'm sorry, I'm new to Kick. And SamBG, I just gave you a follow. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Where are you from? Game dev takes over Kick. So you're a game dev as well. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate that raid. Do you also use Unreal Engine? Oh yeah, Unreal Engine 5 and Blender. Nice. That is super nice. So this is a series of Unreal Engine intro courses. I started this course 19 weeks ago, but I started in Spanish, and now I'm just sharing it in English because some people asked me to share it. And yeah, I think we're all new to Kick. It's taking a lot getting used to. Yeah, that is awesome. Are you learning yourself or teaching others? I've been learning Unreal Engine for 2 years, and I feel like I never finished learning because there is so much to learn. So I'm still learning. I think I'm gonna be learning always because they keep on updating Unreal Engine. The new strata materials are amazing. The new, I don't know, I forgot the name. When you auto-generate stuff, I don't know, I forgot the name of that. That is also amazing. So there is always something to learn about Unreal Engine, and there are so many modules. It's super fun because you can also you can specialize yourself in lighting or modeling in Unreal Engine because they have a module for it, or Niagara effects, or you can dedicate to I don't know, many things in Unreal Engine, ArcBiz and automotive stuff. About a year on and off. Yeah, but it's super nice. There are so many good courses out there. It took me a while to get a hang of it. It was like super scary opening Unreal Engine the first time. I came from Unity, and you always start like, what the heck do I do over here? You have so many options, you have so many modules, and you have, I don't know, like the different modes and the cinematics modules, and I don't know, there is so much to learn in Unreal Engine, but it's definitely super fun. I love blueprints. That is one thing that brought me to Unreal Engine, and not having to understand coding necessarily, so that you can build pretty nice stuff in Unreal Engine. Are you working on any games? I was talking about materials for now, and material graph, and learning how to plug in some nodes over here, just starting to teach people about materials. And yeah, if anyone else wants to learn, I'm also saving my intro courses to Unreal Engine in my YouTube channel. You can find them all over there. I gave you a follow in SamBG. Gonna definitely give you a raid the next time. So yeah, materials. I'm working on a game. I told myself I'll launch it in 1 year, but I am already past that. I totally understand that. I actually started working on a game 2 years ago as well, and I don't know. I thought it would be easy, and it's just a survival game, and it's been so much to learn because I don't know. You don't think about those things when you play a game. There is so much you don't see, but when you start doing a game and you start taking in consideration that it's not just the visual aspect of the game, but the sounds and the cues and how you're going to make the progression and the quests and how it makes sense. The world, it doesn't have to be too big or too small because you get bored. Man, there is so much to learn. I'm trying to start small, but man, there is so much to, yeah, I get that. Just getting Blender basics took me like 3 months. I haven't even started with Blender. I know it's something I want to do. Yeah, 30 jobs in one as a game dev. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I don't know. I had the idea that making a game, it wouldn't be so complex, but it's super complex. You gotta think about everything, and you gotta program basically everything, so that it makes sense. And I also built. I remember when I started building the world for the game, and it was like super huge, and I learned how to use Gaia to make like super huge maps. And then I realized that it's like if it's like super big and you don't have something like super focused, it gets boring. So there is so much to learn. I had to go back to a smaller map. It's still, I started with a 100 kilometers map, and then I narrowed it down to it's probably a 5x5 map. And there is so much to do. There is so much to do. Man, it's super crazy. Yeah, it was a massive map. I had an idea that, man, I'm gonna make this super huge survival map and it's gonna be amazing. But there is just too much to do. If you have a small team, man, it's a lot of work. A lot of work. Or if you're going solo, it's even more work. So yeah, it's super crazy, but it's super fun. I've enjoyed everything I've learned in Unreal Engine. And do you have a team or are you solo? I have a team, but I basically work most of the things in Unreal Engine, and they're working backend. The other two guys are working backend because we're implementing some blockchain stuff to the game. So it's been super crazy. I have another guy that was working on the team as a technical artist. He worked for, I don't know, probably like 4 months, and man, it was a lot of good things. He basically shaped up everything so we could just continue building. That's what he came to do. Super smart guy, super nice. But yeah, we didn't have kind of like a direction to follow until he came and he gave us a direction to follow. Also, during that process, I watched an Inside Unreal Engine episode about a game called Enenra. I'm gonna share the name over here in the chat. So Enenra. So it's a super cool story about a guy that built a game, a super nice game, and it was just him. He didn't use any coding. It was 99% no code, just blueprints. He just like plugged in a couple of lines because he wanted to do something else with the server and a launcher. And he also didn't use, like, he didn't build the 3D assets. He used everything from the Unreal Engine marketplace, and he made a nice game. So that was a lesson for me because we were doing everything from scratch. I don't know why. I had that idea that if you're building a game yourself, you have to make all of the assets yourself, and that is not true. There is so much that you can reutilize or just change a bit from the marketplace, so you can start implementing that onto your project, and it goes a lot faster. So after that guy came with us and started shaping the project, and I learned that from that episode, the development of the game went a lot faster because we were doing everything from scratch. So it was a super dumb decision. We spent a lot of money on that. So yeah, just learning. It's been a huge process. It's been super fun. Yeah, Unreal Engine is just amazing. Yeah, a lot of devs are narrow-minded about that. If it isn't all your work, they say you didn't make the game. But that is a cool story. Yeah, a cool story. A ton of time and money after I learned that. So yeah, but it's super fun. I've enjoyed all of my journey in Unreal Engine. I loved the I don't know, like the technical artist side of Unreal Engine, building worlds, building landscapes. That is super nice because you can. I think it gives a lot of I don't know, sense to a game, that the game looks nice. You have a nice world. It's big and it looks realistic, and you have all those materials and all those procedurally generated stuff, like trees and the ecosystem that go from the tree, rocks and smaller trees and flowers and stuff, and all of that. That is just super amazing. I love that. That is one of the things I have enjoyed most in Unreal Engine. So yeah, it's super fun. Definitely, if someone wants to start and you want to build a 3D game, first person or third person, Unreal Engine, I think it's the best. Probably for 2D games and other stuff, I think Unity would be best. It's a lot easier, and now they have a ChatGPT integrated into Unity, so it's a lot faster to build. So it's super nice. There's a guy that I know. His name is Cameron Willis, and he made a game. He didn't know anything about programming, and he made a game called Tactic Legends using that ChatGPT plugin. Actually, he made the ChatGPT plugin for Unity. So he built that game entirely using AI. So super nice. Yeah, super nice. Super nice. He's super smart. And we share almost the same background. We just decided one day that we wanted to go all in game development. Like, we just left the world of marketing and started working on games super crazy, using our savings. And yeah, 2 years later, we're here. He's a super nice guy. Because of that plugin he made, he was able to go to the GDC last year, Game Development Conference, because it was something groundbreaking. Being able to train a model that is going to allow you to build games basically on autopilot for Unity. So yeah, so he became kind of a star in the Unity world. Real nice guy. So materials, yeah, it's been a super fun talk, but I didn't talk about materials anymore. I was talking about materials. These are my notes because I started doing this class in Spanish. So we're already in class number 19, I believe. And we've seen blueprints and how to build some sort of a shooter and an object, I don't know, an obby, some sort of a platformer game during all these lessons. I forgot what I was talking about from the materials. But yeah, super nice, super nice. Oh, and I remember what I wanted to do now. Yeah, I remember I wanted to do something else. I just forgot. I said I was going to show something a little bit more advanced. On the first class, someone asked me if I could show advanced Unreal Engine stuff just to... No worries. No worries. Thank you very much for the raid. I appreciate that. Yeah, have a nice sleep. Hope you have some rest. Have a great night. Yeah, and hope to catch you again. I'm gonna show on your live stream for sure the next time you're gonna be there. Are you streaming usually at this time? It's 8 p.m. for me. Not sure if you're streaming at this time. So yeah, I was going to show you guys something cool about Unreal Engine. So I'm just gonna save this. We're gonna continue with materials on the next live. And I'm going to show you a little bit more advanced stuff from Unreal Engine. And we're going to open a nice world for it. Usually a bit earlier, around 3 hours ago. So it's gonna be around 5 p.m. my time. Okay, yeah, I'll make sure to check over here. I subscribe. I'm gonna activate notifications. Take care. Have a good night. So I'm gonna show you guys a beautiful demo from Unreal Engine so that you can see what can be built in Unreal Engine when you get more knowledge about it. There is a lot of cool things you can build in Unreal Engine. It looks like super boring probably at the beginning, just I don't know, checking materials and learning about the lighting and how to move and the user interface. But trust me, you're gonna use all of that so that you can get up to this point. So this is a super heavy project from Unreal Engine. It's 54 gigs. I'm gonna open a world. And if you're a fan like me of Unreal Engine, you've probably seen this. They showed this world when they launched Unreal Engine 5.2. So let's just wait. By the way, I have an RTX 4090. I have 128 gigs of RAM. I have a 24 cores processor. It's an Intel Core i9. Liquid cooling and all of that crazy things. I have a super heavy computer because working in big worlds in Unreal Engine takes a lot of resources. So let's just wait, give it a little bit, but this world is super nice. And this is something that you can build when you're, I don't know, passionate about a project you have. Remember, it's super, it's a great recommendation that I'm gonna give it to you, that if you have an idea about a game, write it down. Make sure to narrow it down. Start with the smaller things. Try to build from something small instead of like building from something huge to something small. Start small and go from there. But this is a nice project I'm going to show you over here. I'm gonna change the speed of the camera. Oh, 0.33 is super slow. Oh, there is something weird with the camera going on over here. There we go. So what is this? This is the world they made for Unreal Engine the release of Unreal Engine 5.2, and it shows all the best things about Unreal Engine. In the 5.2 version, this is strata materials. You can now create this kind of effects for materials. Super crazy. It changes depending on how the light hits the object. So these are all the formulas. Almost from real life, they brought it down to Unreal Engine. This is super crazy. This is a really nice world. All of the little things you see over here, these are like the particles and the reflections and the lights and the cameras that are in work in this demo. So I'm going to show you how this demo looks like in play mode. Unreal Engine at its best. This is crazy. So you're gonna need at least 3080 so that you can open this level and actually hit the play button. 3080, you're gonna need a minimum of 64 gigs of RAM so that you can open this level. So we have some cinematics over here, and we have a drone. We are controlling a drone, and we can basically move around the scene. I don't know if you can hear the sound of this. Can you hear the sound of a fly or something like that? So you can go double check everything in the world. This is the amount of detail that you can give a scene so that it looks legit. So if you can hear the sounds, there is sounds of air, leaves, branches, animals, and yeah, something else different like birds and some flies. This gives realism to everything you're building. You're not necessarily seeing the flies or some of the leaves fall, or you're not seeing the birds, but it makes you feel like you're in a scene like that. So when you're building a game, that's something you have to take in consideration. We can hear in this section a different sound, and it's a cricket. And we have some particles. As you can see, some of the leaves from the trees are falling. So when you're really dedicated to a project, you can build this level of realism. As you can see, there's some fog over here. You can also build that. When there's fog and there's light, and you add some bloom, it creates some really nice effects on Unreal Engine. And this is a cave. This cave is made out of meshes. And we have another section over here. There is a huge section of this world over here that, well, most of the assets, the big assets on this world, they are built procedurally. So you just have to change some settings on the seeds, and the seeds changes how the trees are going to grow, how the smaller trees are also going to grow, how the rocks are going to show on the map. So you can change the seeds, you can change the density of a lot of things over here in this project. You can see the reflections on the water. Look at these textures, this is amazing. And it looks like super realistic. So this is the level of realism you can get in Unreal Engine. The amount of polygons, I'm just gonna go out of play mode, that Unreal Engine allows you to use compared to any other software out there right now, it's just crazy. And this is because they have a new technology that is called nanite. And nanite, basically what it does is that it allows you to use polygons, and the polygons make, when a 3D asset has a lot of polygons, it makes, well, it's like a better quality the more polygons they have, because you can zoom in on the things and they are going to keep their assets, their quality. And even if you're far away as well, they are going to keep the quality. So those polygons, the amount of polygons that you can use in Unreal Engine 5, it's super crazy because they have nanite. And nanite is a technology that, I don't know, it cuts the usage of all the 3D assets and what it should use in terms of resources, probably 100 times. So maybe more, maybe even more. So it's super crazy. We can go over here and we can go to visualize. Where is the nanite thingy? Nanite. There is a, oh, it's not here, it's over here, sorry. Okay. Nanite visualization, and we have the overview. And we can see all of the clusters, instances, and primitives of all these objects. All of these objects are built using nanite, so they are using a lot less resources than you would use in Unreal Engine 4.2 if you wanted to build something like this. So it's super crazy. This is one of the things on Unreal Engine that I love about nanite. And also they have the global illumination system, which allows you to compute light real time and make something super crazy. So what I'm gonna do right now is that I'm gonna change the directional light so that you can see how the light changes on the world real time. So if we hit Control L, we're gonna be able to change the lights of the world in real time. And because we have a sky atmosphere and we have the sky atmosphere, and I forgot the name, the skylight, the colors of the light, they also change depending on where the sun is, because when the sun goes out, usually it looks a little bit golden, and when it's like when it's noon, it looks a little bit more blue. And when it's the sunset, it looks different. So this is all real time. Let's just look up. Let's just go out. Let's change some of these settings. But you can see it better. So the sun is over here. As you can see, also the clouds are changing. All of these things that we are doing right now, they are built out of the box in Unreal Engine. Like, you don't have to compute any of this. You don't have to make it. You don't have to do something crazy so that it works on your game. It's built in on Unreal Engine. So it's super crazy. And as you can see right now, the colors of the sun are different. So yeah, this is something that I love about Unreal Engine. Just the sheer amount of detail that you can get out of the box. And the global illumination system, it also uses a fraction of the cost of what it used to take for ray light tracing, and also for the shadows that it's building across these objects. So it's super crazy, super crazy. What else do we have that I love about Unreal Engine? Let me just fix the lights. So the sun is over here. Let's just move it over here. So this is like noon almost. And now let's just go into play mode, and I'm gonna show you a cinematic. Gotta wait a little bit. Be patient. But yeah, this is why I love Unreal Engine. It's just so crazy. If you get really into the details of starting to put all of the assets together so that you can build something like that, you can go really deep in what you're doing. So I'm gonna press Shift. Shift C. This is real time. This is not a video that is playing. This is a real-time camera moving through the forest using all of the assets. And as you can see, all of the assets, even if you're far away, they keep their aspect. There is something called billboards that you used to use in the different versions of Unreal Engine for the foliage, the trees, the flowers, and everything. You used to use billboards to save space on resources, and what that did is that when you're far away from a tree or a plant or something else, it shows you a 2D version of it. So there is a change when you're going far in a scene and you have billboards activated. There is a change on the scene. It looks like it loses some of its quality, and they do that because they wanted to save some of their resources. Because if you're far away from a tree, they don't want to actually render the entire model of the tree. They just rendered an image of the tree. But there is something in Unreal Engine for foliage that is called the nanite, what I talked to you about. And nanite allows you to use a ton of polygons, and there is a new option that is called preserve area for the foliage that you have to activate, and it's going to compute always the flowers, the trees, and all of the assets in exactly the same way they are seen like up close, even if you're like super far away. You're gonna keep all of that quality, and it doesn't use a ton of resources. It's just a fraction of the resources you were supposed to use in different other options and other engines and the different engines of Unreal Engine. 4.2 doesn't have these options. Unreal Engine 4.2 doesn't have the global lighting system. It's just a basic version of Unreal. So you can see this is just super crazy. Ton of trees, ton of assets. As you can see, there is a lot of movement still on the scene. There is some air, there are some particles that are moving. So this is just crazy. And there is another one. And this is a cinematic. So basically a cinematic is a movement of cameras that you can build in Unreal Engine. You choose how the camera moves on the scene. So you can highlight some different areas. It would be good if you know a little bit about photo and video, so that you know the speed that you need to move the camera around, so that it doesn't create that static movement. You need to understand that there is a speed, a maximum speed at which you can move your scene using a camera, so that it doesn't look choppy. The movement doesn't look choppy. So those are things you learn when you're building cinematics in Unreal Engine. So as you can see, man, the quality of this is just crazy. Just amazing. Also, the level of rendering on the assets that we have on the back, it's similar to what you have on this world, the real world. That when you look like super far away and there are like different mountains, you can see the mountains on the back, like they lose some of the color. And this is something that you can also see in Unreal Engine. If the mountains are like super far away, they lose some of its color and they look more light than what you have on top. And that's just amazing. And that is pre-computed on Unreal Engine. So yeah, this is just a small example of what you can achieve in Unreal Engine. It's been, how much? I don't know. How do I say it? An hour and 27 minutes. Usually the lives to learn Unreal Engine should take 1 hour. But yeah, I'm just gonna make a little bit of time to show you different projects and different advanced things on Unreal Engine. So you can get excited about it, because I know learning about materials and learning about nodes and learning about all of that, it can be like super boring sometimes. But if you then see what you can build when you understand how to use different things on Unreal Engine, it might inspire you to keep learning more of Unreal Engine. So I'm gonna be doing that on every class, on every live stream. I'm gonna be sharing a super nice, super crazy Unreal Engine level or something that I've been working on, and yeah, and show you some different things that you can do in Unreal Engine after I finish teaching you something boring. So yeah, that's how we're gonna roll. I'm gonna show you something like super cool, and then I'm gonna continue with the class, and it's gonna be something about the class at the beginning, and then at the end I'm gonna show you a super crazy level and something nice from Unreal Engine. Yeah, at the end of the class, you can say. Let's just yeah, change the light over here. Yeah, I love this in Unreal Engine. It's just super nice. Also, just a random tip. Let's just search for the fog over here. So they have 4 fog cards. They should have an exponential height fog. There we go, this one over here. Let's just double click on that one to find it. It's at the very bottom. Oh damn, it's like super far away. So they're using a proxy for it. Just move up. So if we move it up, oh, I should have this one selected. And let's just bring it up to, it's minus 6,000. Let's say 100. Just go up. Maybe they are doing a blueprint for this. Let me just double check on that. Where is it? Oh, it's still down. Oh, okay. Here we go. Just move it up 1,000. Where's the fog? Yeah, I think they have a blueprint for this. There we go. Okay, it's moving up. So when you're trying to save some resources and you're trying to optimize a world, you use fog. You use a lot of fog so that you limit how much people can see, and that actually doesn't render a lot of the objects for the GPU and the CPU. So you use fog. You also use this. You have some risks, or here like some cliffs, sorry. So the cliffs won't let you see what's past that, because the more you have to like load on your GPU is going to use a lot of like more resources. So fog is your friend tall trees are your friends, cliffs are your friends. You gotta think about how you're going to design your world to start optimizing. And yeah, the fog, depending on what you're going to build in Unreal Engine, it creates beautiful things. And as you can see, this is all pre-computed super fast in Unreal Engine because they have the global lighting system that is called Lumen that basically computes light real time. And on the exponential height fog, you can change a lot of settings over here. You can change the color of the fog. You can change the density of the fog. You can choose the falloff, how far is going to just not show more fog. And this is super nice in Unreal Engine. So yeah, just a random tip before I end today's live stream. And recap, we were just talking about materials, and materials basically shape the texture or the look of all of the 3D assets you have on Unreal Engine. Most of the things you have on Unreal Engine on the viewport, well, these are like procedurally generated objects, so some of them have different settings. But most of the things in a normal world, they are going to have materials and material instances that shape up how the things look like. So if we go over here to meshes that we have generated, you can find some of the objects over here. Oh, substrate materials. That is just crazy. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. But yeah, this has been today's live stream. Materials in Unreal Engine, some crazy stuff in Unreal Engine, and we're gonna continue with material instances in Unreal Engine in the next live on the next Thursday. And what's gonna happen is that, well, just gonna give you a heads up, material instances allow you to change settings on the look of the 3D assets you have on the scene real time. So if you're gonna change colors, you don't have to apply and compile the changes to the material, because it's a material instance that is just going to change settings real time. That's basically it. So we're gonna take a deep dive into material instances on the next live on Thursday at 7 p.m. which is an hour and a half before this timer now, if you're in a different region. So thank you very much for being here today. And Zombie, if you're ever going to watch this replay, thank you very much for the raid, and thank you very much for everyone that stayed over here. Thanks, Luke, for the follow. I appreciate that. And I'm gonna be over here always talking about Unreal Engine. And if you want to learn, I'm gonna be starting from scratch. Well, I've just had the first class last week, so you can go watch the replay on YouTube. And we're gonna go from scratch to making a small game experience, super basic, where you have obstacles and you have to go around them so that you don't die. And if you get to touch something at the end or walk on something at the end, you're gonna win the level, basically. So that's gonna be by class 10, probably. We should be able to understand many concepts around blueprints. So that is all for today. I have no idea how to make a raid over here. Can someone tell me how to make a raid? How do I actually find someone on my game development what is this, a category? I don't know, it doesn't show over here. English in real life creative. Game development, I found it. Okay, category, okay. There we go. Hey viewers, to viewers, to viewers. So there is someone making a vampire survivor game. I'm gonna raid Maui Game Studio. I don't know how, but I'm gonna try. I'm guessing you have to type host or something like that. Is it host? Is it right? How do you do that? Slash host. Oh, there we go. It's host. And then it was Maui Game Studio. Maui Game Studio. Man, they should make this easier. Maui. How do you write Maui? Maui Game Studio. There we go. Game Studio. Has been hosted. Is that all? Yeah, I'm not sure if it worked. Did it work? Can someone tell me? I don't know what happened. All right, I'm guessing it worked, but I'm not sure. Just gonna refresh over here really quick. And let's see if I can understand. Oh, and Bergwolf, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm dropping frames. They're okay. That's what's happening over there.
Yeah, this one 14 would support it. 13.4. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know if it worked, guys. I just typed host over here, but it didn't say anything like I don't know, like Twitch, that you're actually going to someone else's channel.
What I got 13.41.
Yeah, something weird happened. I don't know what happened.
That one looks like iOS 16.
Let's try again. Host. Maui Game Studio. Is this? You don't meet conditions for hosting. Okay, I don't know what happened. I'm gonna figure it out hopefully the next class. But thank you very much everyone for being here. This has been my Unreal Engine Live, and we're gonna continue learning about Unreal Engine over the next weeks. I hope you have a good night, and thank you very much for being here.